So I am Sridhar Iyer. I am a faculty in computer science as well as the program on educational technology. Okay, I am currently the head of the education technology program at IIT Bombay. Okay, and this is an activity which we carry out periodically. So hopefully at the end of this program, you will go back to your colleges and you will be able to implement some of these ideas. Okay. So since it is an afternoon session, let's do some warm up. Not a physical warm up, it's a mental warm up. Okay, so think of one activity that you feel you excel at doing, okay, and write down your answer. You don't have to tell anybody, it doesn't have to be a subject, it can be cycling, it can be mountaineering, it can be anything. Okay, next question. Now think about why you are so good at this activity. Okay, write down the top 3 reasons for why you are so good. Okay, even if you have written down 2, that's okay. So I am going to do some magic now. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I am going to guess one of your top 3 reasons. Okay, 3 reasons you have written, I will try to guess one of them. Okay, one of the reasons is likely to be this word practice or experience. Kitne log ka paas? Okay, okay, more than 50%, right? Not bad, na? Right? 50% of the people feel that we are good at something because we have practiced that. Okay, many of you will have slightly different reasons also, right? I was born with that talent, God given gift, right? Or what else? Spend more time. Spend more time comes under practice. I am doing that activity, okay? I have interest, yeah, interest is another big one. I was interested in that activity. Because of interest, what happens? You spend more time, which again comes back to practice. Okay, anything else? Yeah, you have confidence about that activity. So now the point is this practice, okay, so this whole thing is about practice. This session is all about practice, okay. So the question that you want to think about now is, do you feel that you could have gained such mastery by listening to lectures on the topic? Cricket, okay. Acting, okay. Puzzle solving, okay. Astrology, okay, you are good at astrology, very good. Okay, astrology, anybody else? Spontaneous humor, okay. Now do you think you could have gained mastery? So this is also helping you to find out कि किसके पास जाना है जोक के लिए, किसके पास जाना है हाथ दिखाने के लिए. Alright, okay. So do you feel you could have gained such mastery by listening to lectures on the topic? Acting, I see a lot of lectures on acting, or cricket, I watch a lot of cricket. Does it mean that I will become a good cricketer? No, right? So that's the key point that we want to remember, is that as learners, we develop mastery through practice. Okay, anything you want to learn, you become good at it by practice, right? Doing the activities rather than simply listening to lectures or watching demos. So now you are changing from being a learner to becoming a teacher, right? So as teachers, what we have to do is, we must ensure that we provide our students with the same opportunities, okay, with practice, okay, which is sufficient and timely. What this sufficient and timely means, that we will go on into in this session. Is that making sense? Okay, so if you simply are going to keep lecturing at your students, are they going to become good? It's unlikely. Okay, so only when they practice, only when they do something with what you are teaching them, they are going to become good. So now let's do a slightly different activity. Okay, whenever a blue slide comes, it means that you have to do the work. Okay, whenever there is a white slide, it means I will do the work. Okay, now blue slide. Okay, think of a good teacher that you had and think about what did this teacher do that made you feel that he or she was good. Okay, what happened? Okay, write down 1 or 2 points. So now what I will do is, I will ask each of you to say one and I will note the responses. Passionate, about subject. Okay. Next person. Eki. Huh. Compassionate. Okay. एक minute. Compassionate for what? Okay. Compassionate. Philosophical way of teaching. Practice. Okay. Gave practice. Motivational interaction. Okay. Say that. Makes the lecture interesting. Okay. Competitions, rewards. Okay. Fine. Okay. Next. Practical examples. Cooperative nature that clears doubts. Okay. Okay. Accessible to clear doubts. Okay. Encourages student participation. Okay. What does the teacher do? Is able to how? Let me ask one more question. How? How did the teacher accomplish the learning objectives? You have one teacher in mind. When I say okay, think of a good teacher, you have one teacher in mind. Yeah. So say how did the teacher accomplish the learning objective? How? How? I mean, teaching is a very broad term. So evaluation. Okay. Next. Encourage confidence. Topical jokes. Okay. Provide hints. Okay. Friendly and open to criticism. Okay. Live examples. Okay. Real life examples. Okay. Good communication. Yeah. Nobody has said that yet. Okay. Knowledgeable communication. Okay. Good communication. Class control. Very strict. Okay. Okay. So like real life examples, you'll say okay. Pertinent to competitive exams and jobs, right? That's what you want to say. Makes it relevant. Okay. Ready to solve problems after class. Helpful after class. Punctual. Okay. Nice one. Correct. Real life examples, analogies. Encourage students to involve in projects. Fine. So we made a list, right? We have this list of so ET students, I am just going to take a small digression. Why did I make two columns? Teacher centric, learner centric. Okay. So if you notice, I wrote it in two columns. Okay. Why I wrote it in these two columns is that this column is all about the teacher. What does the teacher do? What does the teacher do? How do I improve? What do I do? How well do I communicate? How I do all that? This column is about the student. What does the teacher do from the student's perspective? That is the thing that we want to keep in mind. So this is what we have. Okay, so now I am going to define somebody called a 20th century teacher. Okay, 20th century, I don't know, you must have been in school, but it's okay. I had all 20th century teachers mostly. Okay, so teacher gives an excellent lecture in the class, demonstrates solving many problems, and gives appropriate homework to our students. Okay, this is your typical teacher that we have all encountered. Okay, now why we are calling this as the 20th century is that in the 20th century information was at a premium. Okay, there was no internet, books were expensive. Have you all heard of Eastern Economy edition? Okay, you heard of Eastern. So editions, you have to have that, limited access to libraries, all those problems were there. Okay. So those who had access to the information, first thing was access to the information, which means knowledge. Okay, what you are saying is knowledgeable, and could transmit it effectively, which means good communication. Okay, so being knowledgeable and being able to give a good lecture, being able to communicate it effectively, were highly valued. Okay, so they used to go around the country giving lectures because that information was not available with people. Okay. What students did in these classes? Students were mostly passive listeners, right? Why? Because the teacher will finish lecturing and go away, and teacher will go somewhere else. Teacher is a scarce resource. Okay. So students' job was to absorb the information during the lecture and all the practice, all the solving the problems or thinking about it or discussing, all of it would happen later. Okay, is that making sense? So this is your standard 20th century model. It was very effective in the 20th century. 21st century, color of slide is blue, okay, which means you have to think. So think what has changed in the 21st century that affects teaching. Okay, write one point in your notebook. So now what we will do is what's called a pair activity. So turn to your neighbor and discuss the changes. Okay, तुमने क्या लिखा, मैंने क्या लिखा, and together come up with one way that you can adapt to the changes. Okay, you have discussed the changes, right? You have discussed each other's answers. Now look at the second part of the question. Come up with one way you can adapt. Okay, let's do one example. Give me one change. Information explosion. So there is a lot of information available. What is one way in which you can adapt? How can you adapt? Information is available. So, you have to do some creative teaching. Okay. For example, using different kinds of material. That's one example. Okay. So that's what I am saying, that you want to adapt. That is the adapt. So if the change that you talked about is information explosion, then you say that for adapting to the change, I will use different kinds of material. Okay. Now continue. What other changes that you have listed? Go ahead with each other. Once you finish, then we will discuss as a class. So what we are talking about is teaching learning, and what the point that we have reached to is that in the 20th century, information was at a premium. Okay, so those teachers who could lecture well, they were highly valued, and students' job was mostly to take notes. But in the 21st century, some things have changed. Okay, does that make sense? Who came late? Who all came late? Okay, did you get it? Did you understand this point? Okay, so now what you are doing is you are trying to identify what has changed, and you can join this group, and trying to come up with one way in which you can adapt to these changes. We will go into what is called the share phase, where we will discuss as a class. Okay, first what has changed from 20th century to 21st century? Smart class is available. Okay, smart class available. Okay, and no, how do you adapt to smart class? Just take one example. Okay, why don't we do it like this? Why don't we do it all the changes together? Yeah, I think that's a better idea. Online tutorials have become available. Okay, MOOCs have become available. Okay, digital libraries have become available. Virtual labs have become available. Virtual labs, digital libraries, e-books, I am going to all put in the same thing. Okay, e-books, anything else? Research facilities. Okay, online channels, online tutorials channels, I am going to put at the same level. Okay, application focus. Okay, people are no longer happy with just giving theory for theory's sake. Okay, or everybody is asking, iska kya karu main? Okay, so there is a stronger application focus demand from the students, right? Otherwise students become disinterested. Okay, what else? Application focus by students. Collaboration. What about collaboration? Collaboration across organizations. So collaboration opportunities have increased. Okay, lot of collaboration opportunities have increased. Very good. Web communication. Okay, yeah. So web. Yeah. Okay, web. Multiple intelligence. Yeah. So teacher student ratio. That's correct. Actually, it's a valid one. Teaching like a business. Okay. Interdisciplinary branches are available. Okay, I am going to put that along with this. Research facilities. Interaction increased. Okay. Collaboration opportunities and increased interaction. Okay. Alright, so let's start with this one. How do we adapt? Because smart class are available, what can we do? Let's take each one of them and try to see what will you do now, because it has come, because you are all now 20th century teachers. Better presentations, okay. I am going to put better in quotes. Okay, now the question is that you are all now starting off as teachers, right? You are going to go back to your college and start off as teachers. You are no longer 20th century, you are all 21st century teachers. You know that all these changes have happened from the 20th century to the 21st century. So the question is, in response to this change that has happened, what change are you going to make in your teaching? Is it enough if you teach the way your teachers taught you? Will it work? Why not? It's already available, correct? Okay, information is already available. 20th century, information was valuable. That's why those teachers had to transmit information. Now the information is already available. If you keep transmitting information, what will happen? They will get bored. What else will happen? Nobody will come to class, right? Nobody will come to your class, okay? Or they will be doing something with their phones. That's what will happen, okay? So how do we adapt? One way is to do better presentations, whatever better means. We'll try to figure out what this better means. Okay, what else? Online tutorials are available. What can I do? Solving real life problems, okay? Okay, research oriented teaching, okay. So solving problems, right? So let's try to use simpler words rather than more complex words. Critical thinking, where does it fit? So in response to what are you going to do critical thinking? Ask students preference, okay. You can ask for students preferences, okay. Not just that which way they want to be taught, but also which topic they want to be taught. There are lots of topics are there, right? Any topic you take, it can go in many directions. You can try to find out, okay, for this class, maybe you will go in one way, for another class you will go in another way, depends upon the syllabus, all of that. Okay, how else can we adapt? Getting familiar, very important one, okay. This is a problem which many 20th century teachers who are now in the 21st century face, okay. They avoid all this, okay, especially people of my generation. They will avoid all that. Why? Because they are afraid of using that in their classroom, right? So they will continue to lecture and become more and more redundant. Okay, getting familiar with technology is important. What else? So you have to keep yourself updated with the technology and how you can use the technology in your teaching. Okay, what else? Have you heard of some technologies which are useful for teaching? Yeah, ICT is very broad, yeah. ICT is like saying internet. Specific. Canvas tools, then what else have you heard of? Have you heard of Moodle? Have you heard the word Moodle? Okay, Moodle you have heard of. Have you heard of edX? Okay, edX is a MOOC platform. Have you heard of the word wiki? Okay, so these are new technologies and you can use those technologies to improve the teaching. Okay, what else can we do? You will become more business-like. Okay, so how will you adapt? Teaching has become like a business. You become more business-like. You give more consultancy, not consultancy, give more direct, directly applicable. You talk more about direct applications. You talk more about the value of the subject, whatever it is that you are teaching. Okay, what else? Collaboration opportunities have improved. So, how can you adapt? Huh? Student exchange programs is outside your control, right? Student exchange programs, so you have to keep that in mind, which level is the answer. So one is at the level of the university. Student exchange program is not going to be in your control. But what can you do? Industry visits, okay. You can do industry visits, huh? Short courses or yeah, they are all short courses. So they are all the same. Industry visit, short courses, internships, all the same. Okay, collaboration. Okay, so collaboration is not just between you and the industry, right? Group work also. Okay, that's also an important collaboration that you can use. right? Your students are anyway doing group work, right? As students you did a lot of group work, okay? Teacher ने एक assignment दिया, एक जन ने किया, सब ने submit किया, right? So that is group work, but now you can do group work in a more ethical and more systematic manner, right? Okay, so group work is one. So these are some things that we want to see in a 21st century, okay? One thing that you observe is that many of these things, solving real life problems, asking of students' preferences, some of them are from the angle of the teacher, some of them are from the angle of the student. Okay, so let's see what does a 21st century teacher need to have, okay? So the key thing everybody is saying is that there is a lot of information. So all of this is basically saying that information has become available, okay? There is like fantastic lectures on the same topic are uploaded on YouTube by somebody, okay? Why should I go and lecture again? Okay, that question arises. So the 21st century, the key point is that information is no longer at a premium, right? Lot of accessible videos are there, demos are there, like you yourself have mentioned, right? Online tutorials are there, X, Y, Z, so many things are there. So it's not enough for a teacher to only transmit information effectively. So this is the problem that you are going to face, that if you just go and lecture in your classroom, however well you lecture, it's not enough. Why? Because such a lecture is already available. So what do you need to do? Interactivity has to increase, okay? That is one thing, okay? One is interactivity, you have to increase the amount of learning that happens in the class. The second thing that you have to do is to make it relevant for your students, okay? Your students only you know. The guy who is recording the lectures from MIT does not know your students, what your students need. Only you know what your students need. So those two things are the thing that you can do, okay? So it is necessary for a teacher to ensure that her students are able to assimilate the information. It's no longer about transmitting information, but it's about assimilating the information, making sure that you know what your students need and creating activities through appropriate practice during the lecture itself, okay? Does that make sense? So this idea is called shifting from being teacher centric to learner centric. So it basically involves changing your mindset a little bit, okay? We have to change our focus from being totally focused on ourselves. Oh, how well am I lecturing? Oh, what am I doing? To thinking about how much are they learning? Is it happening what I want to happen? Okay, so this is about, now you are in the 21st century, okay? 21st century teaching, and in your college you have been thrown into a large class, okay? They said, okay, koi hai nahi, aapko hi padhana padega. So you say, okay, this is a large class. For example, 450 undergraduate students are sitting in one of your first year classes, okay? Imagine a 90-minute class in the 20th century lecture mode, okay? So you are, how many of you are there? 40 of you are there. 10 times more people are there. There is a huge auditorium and I am just going on talking and talking. I am giving a very fantastic lecture, but I am still going on talking and talking, okay? That is what is happening. Now what we have to do is, again another blue slide. What you have to do is, each of you individually, without talking to anyone else, predict the percentage of students who may be showing engaged behavior with the content of the lecture at various instants of time. Okay, what does that mean? It means like, okay, at any point of time, so this is how time is progressing. So at any point of time, you say, okay, how many percentage of the people are paying attention to this teacher? Okay, paying attention, listening carefully, or engaged with the content in some way or the other. Okay, so this is the beginning of the lecture and the lecture is going on and you have to plot the engagement. So beginning maybe it will be here, at some other point it will be somewhere else. So you have to draw some graph which shows how do you think the engagement will progress. So most of the people are showing some graph like this, correct? Most of you are saying that it will start high, slowly it will go down, 90 minutes aate aate Everybody wants to run away, including the teacher. Okay, it may also start from here, go and then, but once it goes up, after that usually it is going to steadily decline, right? We have all sat in such classes, right? Have you all sat in such a class? Waiting for the class to end, even though it was a good teacher. See, I am not saying he's a bad teacher, it's a good teacher, but still after some time you just can't take it, okay? Not this class. Okay, alright. So, now let's come to another activity. So, now with your neighbor, so it looks like almost all of you have similar graphs. Okay, examine each other's graphs, just have some fun. But then come up with some technique that you can use to convert the graph into something that looks like this, where it is more or less steady at 80%. Okay, 80% means what? 80% of the class is paying attention to you, 80% of the time. Okay, so throughout 80% of the class is engaged. 450 people are there in your class. You have to keep them engaged. What will you do? Talk to each other. So let's do the share thing. So let's come up with some techniques. Okay, we'll discuss some pros and cons of some techniques. So once again, okay, what are some techniques? Okay, have small activities. Okay, okay, activities, interactive. Okay, next. Huh? Ask for examples. Very good. Ask for examples. Okay, it's different from tell examples. Okay, you're asking for examples. Okay, some demonstrations. Telling jokes. Okay, yeah. Clap. Okay. Call on stage to make diagrams. Okay. Keep blue slides in the presentation. Now that deserves a new row. Interesting homeworks in the class. Will it help them? Will it help you to keep them engaged in the class? In the class, not after the class. The interesting homeworks is not in the class, it's homework. Discuss what? Discuss homework, previous class homework. Okay. Giving small breaks, okay. I'm going to put it here. Ask them to stand up and clap, allow them to move around. Okay. Make partner for what? ठीक है. Okay. Include puzzles in slides. Okay, yeah, occasionally you can ask a puzzle. Okay, what else? Okay, call on stage to make diagrams and present topic. Quiz session, okay. Okay, include puzzles in slides, include quizzes at end and in between. Can also include some quiz in between, right? Ask personal interest, such as Okay, let me ask you, what is your personal interest in today's class? Yeah, so see, the thing is, you have to imagine this way. Why did I ask him this question? Not just to make you laugh, okay, because you have to think like that, okay, if I am going to do this, you have to imagine that you are being asked that, okay. So if you ask students, if I say, okay, everybody stand up and clap, kitne baar karoge? Okay, once it will be funny, twice it will be funny, after that, you'll say, what is this? Lecture hai ke tamasha hai? Right? That's what is going to happen. Surprise quizzes I already wrote. Include quizzes at the end and in between. Okay. Okay. Rewards and perks for asking questions. Fine. So there are some techniques that we have come up with. Now what we want to do is, we want to examine these techniques and see whether it meets our criteria. What is our criteria? criteria is that this has to stay up. We don't want a spike and then it coming back down. Okay, if I tell a joke, for example, what happens? During the joke there is a spike. Okay, even those who are sleeping suddenly get up, say, "Arey, sab log has rahe, kya ho raha hai?" Okay, but then what happens? After some time, back to sleep. Correct? So the joke does not qualify as a technique for solving this problem. Okay, which of these techniques qualify? So now examine this. Do it yourself. Examine. Okay, which of these techniques will qualify for that? Having small activities. Okay, what is important about these activities? Engagement. It should engage the student and it should be something which everybody can do. Okay, if only the first 2 rows are doing the activities, okay, 400 seater class means what? There will be at least 50 rows. Okay, if only first 2 rows are doing, then 80% of the class is gone. So you have to design activities in such a way that the entire class is engaged, not just these 2 people or those 2 people, but everybody has to be engaged. What are those activities? That's what we are trying to figure out. Okay, let's look at some other ones. Some demonstration, for example. What happens about demonstration? When I do a demonstration, what will happen? Have you sat in lectures where your teacher has given a demonstration? Yes. What you did? You still slept? Huh? Right? Initially the demonstration is attractive. हाँ कुछ color हो रहा है, something is happening. After some time, it's on the same basis. That's a very important thing to understand. Simply because you have new technology like demonstrations, animations and all, does not mean that the thing has changed. It's still information is being transmitted. Whenever information is only being transmitted, what do students do? They sleep. Okay. So along with the demonstration, something more needs to be done. Okay, that you will learn in this, as this course progresses, you will learn what else needs to be done and so on. Okay, let's look at some other ones. Allowing students to move around, will it meet the criterion? Huh? No, right? Occasionally it will meet the criterion, but occasionally it will be there. Include puzzles in slides. Let's look at this one. Will it meet the criterion? 400 people are there in my class. I have a crossword puzzle in my slide. Yeah, puzzle, any type of puzzle is valid, right? Crossword is also one puzzle. I like crossword, so I put up crossword. What will happen? Some students will get engaged. Yes, it will help, but we are not sure whether it will help for the entire class. Okay, including quizzes. Yes, because everybody has to participate. Now, how to create a quiz where student does not get anxiety about marks? That we will learn in another session. To quickly recap, 20th century, information was at a premium, right? So those who could lecture well, communicate well, those who were knowledgeable, that was the big deal. 21st century, information is available with everyone. So what is your requirement? You have to be able to focus on your students. How much learning is happening for your students, how much effective it is for your students. That's what you have to look at, right? So how to do that? So one way is what we call active learning techniques. Okay. What do we mean by active learning techniques? It means students have to go beyond listening, writing notes or executing prescribed procedures like deriving a theorem or something. Students are asked to figure things out during the class. So it needs an attitude shift of the teacher. What is the shift that is required? From being content oriented. What do we mean by content oriented? Information, and second thing is syllabus. Okay, when you start, so once you start teaching your courses, you will realize that that's one big worry. Syllabus complete karna hai. Okay, oh 2 period bache hai. All those tensions will begin. Okay, so that is being content oriented. You are worried about transmitting all the information in the given amount of time. You have to shift from that to being learning oriented. Okay, you are transmitting information, but who is learning? What learning is happening? So that is one shift that is required. And the other shift is going from how well am I lecturing to how well are they learning. Okay, how much did my students learn? Okay, so normally as a teacher, when you leave the class, you always have a feel of, was this a good class today or not? Okay, you will say, हाँ आज का class बहुत अच्छा हुआ. क्यों अच्छा हुआ? अरे मैंने क्या जवाब दिया उसके सवाल को. Okay, so it's all, so that means you are still focused on the teacher. On the other hand, if you ask the question, ठीक है, did students really learn in today's class? So when I leave this class, I ask myself, did these guys really learn? They all laughed. They all gave some answers, but did they really learn? How do I know that? By asking some questions and by the responses that you give. Okay, by the responses, like in the share phase in the earlier slide, you gave so many responses of what all has changed, what is new things are available. So I know that, okay, you are learning. Okay, so that's the important thing. So what are active learning strategies? Students have to go beyond listening, copying of notes. Instructor has to design such activities. Okay, it's not automatic. As teachers, you have to design these activities. You have to make these blue slides. Okay, nobody is going to make them for you. You have to make the blue slide, which makes your student to talk. Did you all talk? Okay. Write. Did you all write? Okay. Reflect. Reflect means think. Did you all think? Okay. And express their thinking. Did you all express your thinking? Okay. So basic point of this entire workshop or this session is, somebody said, right, include blue slides in your PPTs. Okay. That's the idea. So what should the blue slide do? It should do all this. Okay. That's the idea. And okay, these techniques are explicitly based on theories of learning. They are evaluated repeatedly through empirical research. Okay. So let me just give you one example. This may not be very pertinent, but some of you may feel कि अरे ये चलता है क्या? Does it really work? Does this actually help student learning? Okay, maybe students are engaged in the class, but does it actually help them to learn? So that's why I am giving you some data on one experiment that was done. Many such experiments have been done. So this experiment is a study of 62 physics courses, which involved 6,500 students across colleges, schools and so on. And what they did was, so the idea of a pre-post test is, see 12th standards physics and first year physics. Is there a big difference between 12th standard physics and first year physics? There is not much of a difference, right? So that is a level. So there is a pre-test which says, okay, what are the marks that these students are scoring on something called a concept inventory. Concept inventory means it's a standard question bank. You can think of it like that. It's a very standardized question bank. It's very reliable. Okay. So there's a pre-test, and after the course, they give another set of questions from the same question bank as a post-test. And what are they measuring? What will they measure? The difference, right? How much learning has happened. Is that making sense? समझ में आ रहा है? Okay. So what they found, so what they did was, they found that, now if you look at the x-axis kind of represents the gain or how much learning happened in the class. Okay. And the red ones are the teachers who were very good lecturers, and the green ones are the ones who had blue slides. Okay. They were the active learning instructors. Okay, what do you observe from this graph? Okay, so those who have active learning or blue slides, whatever, they seem to have more learning. Why? Because this is the learning axis. How much learning, how much gain happened. Okay, so gain even for novice instructors, people who are just starting out on their teaching profession, even for them there was a gain of 0.2. Okay, the best traditional instructor, okay, many years he has been teaching, has won many awards. Okay, the best traditional instructor is only at 0.3. Okay, so you can be directly at 0.2. Okay, And once you get better and better at it, you can keep on going. Your students' learning goes all the way up to 0.7, can go up to 0.7. That much increase in learning happens in the students by using these techniques. Okay, that's the basic point. So gains from learner-centric courses had gains of 0.23 to 0.7, which was 2 to 3 times greater than the lectures. It's not that the lectures were bad. Okay, they were also excellent lectures, but they didn't have blue slides. Okay, so if that's one thing that you take away from this session, that is, in your class you should have some activities and you have to design those blue slides carefully. Okay, so the implication is that it's desirable to explicitly incorporate learner-centered activities in our teaching. Okay, it's not enough to simply lecture, it's desirable to incorporate this. This is the implication. Okay, now let's come to another question. So many teachers are saying this. Okay, usually it happens. I mean, maybe you guys will not say that because you are first time teachers, but many people, when we do this workshop for teachers who have been teaching for 10 years, okay, first response we get, oh ये सब तो हमको आता है, तो हम करते ही हैं. Okay, क्या करते हो आप? I often pause to ask students whether they understood. Okay, I allow students to interrupt whenever they have any doubts. I immediately answer the doubts. Okay, I never hesitate to answer. I show them demos and videos. So people say that this is active learning. I am not just lecturing. I am interacting with the students. There is a lot of interaction happening in my class. So there is active learning. What do you feel? Let's look at what is happening here. What is the student doing in all of these? Largely students are listening. Okay, most of the students are listening. So this is not a bad way. Okay, I am not saying that you should not do this. Okay, I am not saying that don't lecture. So don't misunderstand what I am saying. I am not saying that you should not practice on becoming better and better at lecturing. You must do that. Okay, that is important. You must do all this interaction in the class, you must answer students' doubts and all of that. But it's not enough. Why it's not enough? Why interactive lectures may not be enough? Okay, let me give you a very easy example. Who is the most excited person in this classroom? Is it your neighbor? Me, right? It's not your neighbor, it's me. Okay, why? Because the teacher always is excited, because I have information to transmit. I want you to get this information, right? You're all come here for the first time, I want you to go back with this and have all the information, apply it in your class. Okay, I am so excited about it. This must be the 50th time I am doing such a session. Different one although, but even after 50 times I am excited. Why? Because it's a new bunch of students and I want them to learn that. What about you? Somebody is thinking, "Arey yaar, ek aur chai pee lena chahiye tha." Yeah? Somebody else is thinking, okay, kab khatam hoga? Something or the other is happening, right? Which I am not aware of. I can't see it on your face. Often I can see, but I can't always see it on your face, right? Or somebody is looking at it, somebody is seeming to take notes. We don't know what's going on. So that is the most important problem with interactive lectures. Students don't pay utmost attention throughout the lecture. Some parts, yes, you paid attention. Some other parts, when I showed that graph, many of you tuned out. Hey, kya hai? Graph red, green, kuch aa raha hai. Okay. So, students don't pay utmost attention throughout the lecture. That is the key problem. However much we think that they are paying attention, we are the ones who are paying the attention. Because I cannot afford to not pay attention. Okay. That's the first problem. Second problem is, students think that they understand because they can follow the lecture. Okay, this is especially true of subjects where problem solving is involved. Okay, just because you did a good job of the derivation, students may think that they can understand it. And later on, when they are not immediately confronted with their misconceptions. When do they come to know that I didn't quite understand? When they go and solve the same problem. When do you come to know कि उनको समझ में आया कि नहीं समझ में आया? Exam में, okay. Exam is when you understand. By the time you realize, अरे मैंने तो इतना अच्छा पढ़ाया था, मैंने तो सोचा इनको सब समझ में आ गया, फिर क्यों नहीं आ रहा है इनको marks? Okay, all those kind of questions start arising because of this problem. Students think that they understand. So you need a technique which can confront their misconception quickly. Okay. Then when we say that, okay, I often ask doubt, I ask students to respond, then there is this problem. Okay, it's difficult to ensure that all students in the class participate actively, right? We have seen this from both sides. As a teacher also you have seen it, as a student also you have seen it. Okay, वो दो चार लोग बोलते रहते हैं, isn't it? It happens in every class, except this one. इसमें सब लोग बोल रहे थे, right? So that's the important thing. So students with high motivation or high achievement levels will drive the pace. They will keep asking questions. The teacher will keep interacting with those few students. पीछे वाले छूट जाएंगे, okay? And teacher will think what? What will the teacher think? Students have understood. Okay, because 2-3 students have engaged with the teacher, teacher will think that students have understood. Okay. So students with low achievement level or students with low motivation, they will get left behind. Okay. What is the solution to this problem? Many people will give one solution to this problem. See what happens in the class when you do that. Many people think, roll number 32, you tell me the answer. Or somebody else, you tell me the answer. So as soon as you start doing that, that is one way to get more students in the class to participate. Okay, as soon as you start doing that, what happens? What happened to you when I pointed at you suddenly? Bolo na? You didn't understand the question, right? Next session he'll say, okay, let's not take a risk. Let's not go to the class. So that is the problem that happens when you do that. Students may have a barrier to responding directly to the instructor because the pressure is very high. Sab log sun rahe mera answer. Okay, there is a barrier to responding to the instructor. Was there a barrier to responding to your neighbor? No, that is what we are exploiting. Okay. So, yeah, this problem is there. Shy students don't ask questions or give an answer. Okay. Forcing all students to respond tends to be counterproductive. Okay, we cannot force all the students to respond. So what we need, what are some active learning techniques? So there are some, one of which is called think, pair, share. Okay, think, pair, share is one, peer instruction is one. These two you will learn in this course. Okay, today we will learn about think, pair, share, and tomorrow afternoon you will learn about peer instruction. There are many other techniques, but these are what are called active learning techniques. They help to keep the entire class engaged, not just 4 students out of 40, but 40 out of 40. Okay, so it's very difficult to sleep in an active learning class because you are not responding to the instructor, you are responding to your neighbor. Okay, anytime you design activities like that which make students talk to each other, then the class will be engaged. Okay, a lot of learning happens in such a class. Do you know what is think, pair, share? Okay, so at the very basic level, you ask every student to think on a particular topic, discuss with a partner and share it with the entire class. Okay, you have all experienced think, pair, share, right? There is slightly more things that you need to do beyond a broad discussion. Okay, you didn't discuss broadly. So there was something specific about the discussion. That is all that you need to learn. Okay, so why do TPS? What was the advantage? Was there any advantage beyond making you laugh occasionally? Take others' perspectives. Okay. 100% involvement. Okay. Learn from others, take others' perspective. Okay. Everybody gets engaged. Okay, the entire classroom gets engaged. Then, encouraged to speak. Everybody is able to speak because you are not speaking to the instructor, you are speaking to your neighbor, and together you are speaking to the instructor. That's not as problematic. Okay. What else? See, as soon as I say sab chup ho jate hain. There is a problem that happens in every class. The moment I say talk to your neighbor, people are listening, people are talking. People are encouraged to think, okay. Very good point. One, if I didn't understand, in the pair phase, then I can get to understand what is going on. Okay. So there are a lot of these advantages. So let's see if we have captured all of them. Okay. So why use TPS? There are well-known challenges to teaching learning. So active learning techniques that engage the entire class are required. TPS is a relatively easy way to achieve the benefits. So what's the definition? As you already said, it's a collaborative active learning strategy in which students work on a problem posed by the instructor. How many TPS activities did we do? Now if we go a little bit into more detail, think में क्या होता है? Teacher asks a specific question. It's not like very open-ended question, okay? So each student has to come up with their own individual response. What was the think question that I asked? What will you do in your class? Okay. So each of you can express your own thinking. There is no single correct answer. Okay. Each of you will say, okay, somebody says, okay, I'll tell a joke. Somebody else will say that I'll make them stand up. Something like that. In the pair, what happens is, teacher asks another question which is related to the previous one. That is the only additional thing that you have to now pay attention to. Okay. That it's not just an open discussion, but these questions have to be related to each other. Okay. And then they share their thinking. Finally, we will do a share phase where we talk about all the solution with the entire class. So you don't need the definition, you already know how to use it. See what's happening. There are 4 or 5 white slides, correct? What's happening to you? Some discomfort is setting in, right? Too much of talking by the instructor. It doesn't matter how interesting the instructor may be. So what are the benefits of TPS? Students are actively engaged. Did this happen? Students learn from each other. Did you say this? Okay. Students can tackle large and ill-structured problems. Okay, this we have not done in this session, but we have done this one. Develop the ability to consider multiple points of views, right? When somebody said this, your neighbor has given a different perspective, multiple perspectives you looked at. Okay, these are advantages. Then there are other benefits of TPS. Makes the class interactive, it happened? Okay. Students realize that even others are struggling. Did you realize that? Especially in a problem solving, it's very important. But otherwise you feel कि अरे सिर्फ मुझे नहीं आता है. Now you realize I'm just one of the others. Enough people don't know, right? So it builds a friendly yet academic atmosphere, and it includes all the students in the teaching learning process. Okay, this is the main thing. So this is, now what you are going to do is, you are going to design your own blue slide, okay? Pick that topic, whatever is your favorite topic, you pick that topic and you create one TPS activity for your class. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. So to help you, I have what is called a TPS constructor. So first step is this. Okay, plan your TPS, everybody can see? Okay, so choose a topic from your course that has scope for multiple solution approaches and write a question that you want to discuss. Okay, what is the think phase question that you will write? Each of you, only you have to write the think phase question. That's all you have to write. Write the topic and say that this is the think phase question that I will write. So we'll do it in 2 stages. Okay, first you write your own think phase question, then I'll let you talk to your neighbor. Then we'll all talk. Okay, if you have written your think phase question, you discuss with your neighbor. The neighbor's job is this. Neighbor's job is to check whether that question is broad enough so that most students in your class can write some response. Okay, you take your neighbor's question and check कि ये होगा क्या. Okay, why? Because if somebody has missed your class, it should not be a very difficult question. And second thing that you have to check is, can this question be answered in 1 to 3 minutes? What is the significance of elective power, reactive power, okay. Advantages of freewheeling diode. What are the applications of convolution? Okay, different types of stresses developed in objects. Third law in practical life. When do you use simple present tense? Ensure that the question is broad enough so that most students in your class can write some response. Okay, So look at this example. This example says, write the pseudocode to find the smallest element in an integer array. Okay, integer array, everybody understands what's an integer array? Collection of numbers. Write the pseudocode. Pseudocode means what logic you will use to find the smallest element in an integer array. Okay, so everybody can answer that question using their own logic. That मैं ऐसा करूँगा. Okay. Now, if you look at some of these questions, what is happening is, like let's take first 3 or 4 questions. Okay, they are all recall questions, which means what? If I have mugged up something from the textbook, I can write the answer to that question. Are you getting the point? Those questions, it will be difficult to follow up. Like for example, let's take one of these questions. Okay, what are the advantages of freewheeling diode? Okay. Whose question is that? Yours. Okay. Okay. Don't mind that we are criticizing your question. Okay. Now, what question will you give in the pair phase? What is the topic you want them to learn? Semi-converter. Okay. So, if you give this question, what is the next question that you will ask in the pair phase? So, I have written 2 advantages. Okay, think of what happens in the class. Okay, when you give this question, what are the advantages of freewheeling diode? What answers you expect? Okay, that's fine. So, you are given this question, what are the advantages of freewheeling diodes? Okay, let's say these 2 people are in your class. Can you imagine what answer this fellow will write? Okay. Yes or no? That's all. Yes. Can you imagine that fellow writing different answers? Yes. Okay. So that is one important thing that is required. So in some way, okay, this is meeting the criteria that different answers can come. I may come up with 2 advantages. You may come up with some 2 other advantages. That's okay. But now what are you going to do after that? What are you going to make us discuss? Next step क्या है? Okay, I didn't ask you to do that, but अभी सोचना पड़ेगा. Okay. So now you have to think that okay, this fellow has written 2 advantages, that fellow has written 2 advantages. What am I going to make them share with each other? Okay, आपस में advantages exchange करने से इतना interesting नहीं होगा. और कुछ करना है उसके बाद. Are you getting the point? Let's take another example. When do you use simple present tense? So if we change this question a little bit, right? Give an example of a simple present tense. It becomes a good think phase question. Okay. Or where have you observed Newton's third law? This is again a good think phase question. Okay. Somebody standing on the boat and pushing another boat. Okay. 2-3 different answers you have to anticipate. People slapping. Okay. Slapping is third law. Okay. Then what else? Okay, stopping a moving object. Okay, so you have got some responses. You got क्या था? Boat, slapping, and stopping as some 3 examples which students in your class have given. Okay, what is the next thing you are going to make them do? What was your learning objective for this? Okay, so the topic you have taken is Newton's third law. You want students to be able to, at the end of your topic, you want students to be able to that's very broad. Understand, how will you know whether they have understood or not? See, understand is a very dangerous word to use. Okay, understand means different things to different people. How will you know that they have understand? Anytime you find yourself using the word understand, ask yourself, how will I know whether they have understood or not? How will you know that they have understood? You will ask some question in the exam. You will give an exam, you will ask some question in the exam. Give an example of the question. No, this question you can't ask in the exam. This you are asking in the class. Correct? This is so that's the point I am trying to make. The think phase questions are not exam questions. Okay, they are not questions that you want to use in the exam. They are questions which help your students to think. Okay. So when you ask this question, okay, where have you observed Newton's third law in practical life? The next question you may say is that argue with your neighbor that how is Newton's third law being applied here? Okay, so I have to show, I have to explain ki okay, boat mein where exactly is Newton's third law being applied. Then you have to discuss. Some discussion like that has to happen around the question. Is that making sense? So this is the first time you are taking a crack at it. So it's okay to write questions of any type. No, everybody writes questions this way only. Nobody gets it right the first time. But what we do is, we write the question and we keep refining those questions. Even these questions that I showed you, okay, my own TPS questions, some of them I wrote in the morning today, okay, and I had to go through the same process. I first wrote something, then I changed it and so on. Okay, so now what we will do is we will go to the next step of the activity, which is to write your pair phase question. Now what you have is, you have the option to change your think phase question. Now that you have got some idea of kya cheez hai, you have the option to change your think phase question, modify your think phase question, so that the pair phase, you can write a good pair phase question. Pair phase mein what you have to do is write a follow up question that two students can work on together. Okay, you have written one question already in your think phase. Now try to think of a follow up question that two students can work on together. If you can't find one, then change the think phase question. Okay, change your think phase question. So what is important is, the question is connected to the think phase. Okay, it can't be that, first question I ask in the think phase, I ask the question what is the significance of reactive power, and then in the pair phase I say what are the advantages of freewheeling diode. That doesn't work. Okay, so if you are talking about freewheeling diode, the whole thing has to be about the same thing. You can't give a totally different question. Okay, so the question has to be connected to the think phase. The second thing is, two students are required. If one person can answer the question, then the second person has no work. Two students are required. So write your pair phase question. So okay, if you have written your own question, then check your neighbors. Okay, discuss, check whether your neighbor's question satisfies these criteria. Okay, is your neighbor's question connected? Do you think two students are required? Okay, does it lead to the discussion that you want to carry out later? So now what we have to do is, if you feel that your neighbor's question is very good, then raise your hand. Okay, not your own question, your neighbor's question. Okay, what is the question? So tell me your neighbor's think phase question and your neighbor's pair phase question. Right? This is the think phase or the pair phase? Think phase. Okay. Right? At least two solid waste saw today. Okay. Pair phase. Is solid or any other phase. Okay, then think phase is predict. Okay, so now I am going to ask those who said that these are their neighbor's question, right? Okay, so let's start with bottom up. What is heat? So why do you think that this is a good TPS question? Okay, so how does this question help? When I ask this question, what is heat? How does it help?
Because temperature can be defined only on the basis of.
Okay, so
Heat should be defined independently.
Okay, let me expand the thing. Both of you together. It's not your question, I know. So your question, right? Okay, so both of you together, what do you expect as the answer for this phase, think phase? What is heat में लोग क्या बोलेंगे? क्या लिखेंगे?
Heat is defined on the basis of thermodynamic work.
That is fine. I am not asking for the knowledge about heat. I am asking, what do you think your student will write? Because think phase में you have asked them to write the answer to what is heat. what do you expect that they will write in your class? कुछ लोग क्या लिखेंगे?
So they will define the heat in terms of the work done in a particular process.
Okay, they will write some textbook definition. That's what you are expecting. Okay. What happens with this question? Why is this question useful?
Because they will write the definition of heat in terms of temperature.
Uh-huh.
And they will define the temperature in terms of heat.
Okay, so what is the difference between heat and acha? That is what you are getting at. Okay. So this point that you want to make. Okay, now I understood where you are going. You want them to understand the difference between heat and temperature.
They are independent concepts.
Okay. So in this case, what happens is TPS is not really the best way of bringing that out. Actually, there is a different technique called peer instruction, which is better for a concept of that sort, where you can list out various definitions, ask students to pick those definitions. Okay, because here there is nothing being constructed. What is the difference between heat and temperature? अगर मैं भी confused हूँ, मेरा neighbor भी confused है, तो हम लोग दोनों confused ही रहेंगे. Do you understand? वो confusion clear नहीं होने वाला ऐसा discussion से. So a different technique is required for this particular concept. Okay, let's take this one. List the problems which can be solved by using automation. Okay, what do you expect your student to write? Searching a string, okay. Okay, searching for a string, what else? Give 2-3 answers that you expect your student to write. Are you getting the point? You have to always anticipate what your student is going to say. Okay, whenever you make a blue slide, behind that there is always a white slide which says student's response. You have to anticipate what will come there. So, this is a slightly CS concept of identify problems which can be solved using automata and then predict whether there is a pattern. So, you are going towards regular languages and all that, right? You are going towards identifying what is a regular language and things like that. Okay. Okay, you can look at the result in the time domain. Okay. Now, what do you expect to happen in the pair phase? Discuss how convolution is used in your application. What do you expect will happen? I am trying to refine your question a little bit. Okay. So, discuss is very broad, right? What is missing? Now, let's go back to the checklist. Okay, checklist mein, let's look at this first one. The question is connected to the think phase. Is that check passed? Both are about convolution. So, that check is passed. Okay. 2 students are required to answer the pair question. Is that clear? In this discuss how convolution is used in your application? Sort of. Okay, chalega. Okay. Third one is there is a clear deliverable for the pair. What is the meaning of the word deliverable? Output. Kuch output hona chahiye, right? Discuss does not lead to the deliverable. Okay, so that part is missing. So, discuss and do what? Discuss how convolution is used in your application and do what? What should you produce? And identify similarities or together come up with something, identify a third application. Are you getting the point? Okay. So, don't stop with just saying discuss. Discuss how convolution is used in your application and identify the characteristics. Characteristics or together do. See, always your pair phase has to say together do something. It should not just say discuss. Okay. Let's look at this question. Write at least 2 solid waste that you saw today. Okay, I'll give you a chance. Whose question? Your question. Okay, I'll give you a chance to modify your pair phase question based on the discussion just now. थोड़ा सा modify करो question को. It's a good question. Write at least 2 solid waste that you saw today. Okay, what did I see? I saw a coffee cup, which I drank coffee, and I saw a plate. ये मेरा answer है. Okay. Did you see anything else? Okay. Now you are asking me to discuss with my neighbor. Okay. What are you asking me? Whether it is really solid or whether it comprises of any other phase. And then do what? Again apply this test. Is the question connected? Yes, question is connected, okay, because I am still thinking about the same solid waste, okay. 2 students are required, yeah, because I would have written 2 answers, you would have written some 2 other answers, we are going to do some discussion, 2 students are required, okay. Is there a clear deliverable? So that is what you want them to realize, right? So what you have to say is, discuss whether the solid waste is really solid, and you say identify the other phases in the waste that you mentioned, okay. The moment you add this extra thing, it's not just a discussion, you discuss with each other. I'll say, okay, coffee cup mein, okay, let's try to do this exercise, okay, I said coffee cup, you and I are partners, we are discussing, what you will tell? Okay, in the coffee cup there is some coffee left, it will be a liquid phase, okay, 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 and then where are you going with this? So what is the final thing you want to do in the share phase? What is the point you want the class to understand? Acha, so you are emphasizing on the management word. Why is it? Okay. So why we have to manage the solid waste? That is where you want to take the discussion to. Yeah, I understand, but your emphasis is on why this has to be managed. Okay. So now what is happening is there is a slight disconnect between your pair phase and your share phase. Okay, pair phase mein you have made it clear that there are other phases in the waste. Okay, so there is coffee and there is cup. So what? So think of your class, okay, what is happening in your class? Every pair is giving some answer, okay, one pair has said that, okay, coffee and cup, another pair has said plate and samosa crumbs, okay, a third pair has said something like whatever, chocolate wrapper, okay. So there is some, or a fourth pair has said, okay, crushed paper has some air in it. So all these answers have come. What are you going to do with these answers? That is the point that you want to say, that since all phases are involved, we cannot separate. So that is why we call it, we have to manage. Okay, it's a good point. Okay, because all the phases are there, we cannot separate, we have to manage. Okay, normal traditional lecture mein how this topic will be dealt with? Suppose you are giving a lecture, you will say, okay, solid waste के 3 तरीके होते हैं. तरीका 1, right? Will just go on rattling, students will go on taking notes, and that will be the end of it. Nobody will have really understood. Now when you do it in this way, the chances of your students learning increases, the chances of your students engagement definitely increases, right? Because they are discussing with each other. So let's again apply the test. Think phase. Why is there no EM signal inside this classroom? Will all students be able to write some answer or the other? Okay, you together wrote the question, fine. Why is there no EM signal inside this classroom? What is the, do you expect that every student will be able to write an answer for it? Okay, let's do this exercise slightly differently. Okay, let me write one expected answers karke. Now you tell me, what are the expected answers? Classroom will work as low pass filter, okay, then the walls will absorb, okay, EM, okay. 2-3 answers you have to be able to anticipate, okay, walls will absorb EM, और क्या बोल सकते हैं? Okay, no line of sight. Okay, you have some expected answers for your think phase question. Actually, this is a good idea which is working out now. Okay, along with the think phase question, next time when we are doing the changing the constructor, no, let us make that change. We will have people write expected answers also. So what is the discussion you expect will happen? So this is fine. Why is there no EM signal inside this classroom? You said that, okay, these are some thoughts which your students will have. They will write it down. Now in the pair phase, You are free to refine your question now if you want. Tell me. What you will write in the pair face? What do you want them to discuss about? Okay. So share your answer with each other. हो गया फिर and do what with it? Share your answer with your neighbor. Okay. So I wrote low pass filter, you wrote whatever, line of sight. Okay, I told her that okay, my answer is low pass filter, she told me hers is line of sight. Then what? Where do you want them to go? You want them to go towards this answer. Correct? So what you will ask? Direct question पूछने से तो answer नहीं मिलने वाला. बराबर है ना? So what activity you will give? So I have shared my answer. Is there a correct answer? Are all these correct answers? They are all correct answers. Okay, give me one wrong answer then. You should also expect wrong answers. It's an important thing. Okay, give me one wrong answer. Huh? Because fans are on. Anything can be a wrong answer, no? Okay, I think that okay, EM and fan will interfere, kuch hoga, and then I think okay, wrong answer. Okay, I come up with an answer like that. Okay, now what has happened is, think about what is happening, it's very important. Okay, now I wrote because fans are on, she is sitting next to me, she also wrote because fans are on. Okay, and there is no discussion for us, we have shared our answers, हम लोग दोनों सोच रहे हैं हमारा correct है, right? Actually हम दोनों गलत है. So what will you do to make us realize that? Share your answer with your neighbor and do something. What will you do? Check for something. What will you make me check? Check characteristics of the EM wave. Okay, you can say like this then. Check characteristics of EM wave and check for wavelength and whether that wavelength can be absorbed by the wall or interfered with the fan. Is that what you want to say? Is this valid? Check it, check whether that wavelength gets absorbed by the wall or whether it gets interfered by the fan. Is that okay? See, so that is what you want to ask. Are you getting the point? सिर्फ discuss बोलने से नहीं चलने वाला, सिर्फ दूसरा एक question देने से भी नहीं चलने वाला. What you have to do is you have to say discuss and then think about this question which is making you think about the answer that you wrote. So suppose I wrote the answer classroom will work as low pass filter, then I am going to check something, check characteristics. Okay, now this is not well written because I don't know the topic, but you will say that okay, check whether this criterion is satisfied by this answer that you have given. Okay, that will ensure that both the neighbors are checking it with each other, doing something with each other. Something like this. You will give a discussion on what characteristics of EM wave is not being supported by each of these answers that are coming from your classroom. Okay? Is that making 50% sense? 100% I am not expecting. More or less, thoda bahut idea aaya hai. Okay, you have to practice. Only when you practice, see that's the whole point. Today you have written one question. As you write more and more questions, your skill at writing TPS questions will improve. Okay, as you write more and more questions, the learning in your class will increase. Okay, there are 3 points to keep in mind. One is that you have to ensure that there is a clear deliverable. Okay, vague sentences nahi hona chahiye. Student should know what is the output, where is it going. Okay. Second is phases have to be logically connected. Okay. They should use the output of one phase in the next phase. Okay, what is the third one? Third one is you have to ensure that there is sufficient time for each phase. Okay. If you give a very big question and just give them 1 minute, nobody will be able to do. If you ask a very simple question and give them 10 minutes, everybody will get bored. Okay. Too little will lead to frustration, too much will lead to boredom. Okay. Move on when 80% of the class is finished. How do you know 80% of the class is finished? By their faces, okay? Raise your hands, the easier way is there. Huh? Not just experience. Okay, what did I do? When I gave the TPS activities, when did I stop the discussion? Okay, what happens in TPS? Slowly the noise increases. Correct? It happened in this class. Slowly you start discussing. थोड़ी देर के बाद discussion खत्म हो जाता है. Then you start fiddling with something. So the noise decreases. So when the noise decreases, that means most people have finished discussing. Okay, assuming that they are not discussing something else. Okay, assuming that they are not going on to discuss something else. When the noise decreases, then you know that 80% of the class is finished. That time you move on. Okay, so this is the basic point. And just to reiterate one point from a previous session. In yesterday's session, you saw that learning objectives. What are learning objectives? Okay, student will be able to. You have to write it in those terms. You saw what is assessment. You saw how to write assessment questions. Okay. Today you are seeing the third one, which is instructional activities. One of the instructional activities for achieving these learning objectives is think, pair, share. Okay, these are two very simple techniques which you can use in a small class, you can use in a large class, as and when required to ensure that lot of learning happens in your class. Okay.